Make Loki a playable persona. I will buy your game again. No questions asked. No questions asked.
No questions asked.
Oh, what the? Really? Right off the bat? God fucking damn it. Okay, yeah, I get it. Special edition, day one pre-order, all that jazz, fine. We die like men here, but come on. Y'all wanted me to do more stuff like this, and I did just say I'd buy it, no questions asked. Not that I'd buy it and adore it with no complaints. And oh boy, call me the general, boys, because I've got some serious grievances. And now that I'm not half asleep deprived of caffeine or pretending to understand Japanese more than I actually do, I can actually talk about some of this stuff a little more coherently with the complete lack of wit and charm you've come to expect, I'm sure. Persona 5 The Royal has gotten its first full, non-teaser trailer, and it's a lot to take in. A lot more than I probably gave it credit for in my live reaction, but again, half asleep, no subtitles, nobody ate dinner that night. But I was at least able to understand that it was indeed the long-rumored re-release, and that it did indeed immediately invalidate most of that last video I did. So let's go over that trailer one more time with full context, a clear mind, and an actual clue in my head as to what the fuck I'm talking about. Once again, talking under the assumption that you have played the vanilla version of this game. If you haven't, do yourself a favor, exit out this video and any other. Don't bother with the speculation, quit the internet for, let's be real, about a year. Experience this new version of the game as blind as possible. It's the way these games are intended to be experienced. You won't regret it. You'll enjoy it more in the long run. Trust me on this one. As for the rest of us, allow me to tell you some stuff you probably already know. It starts off with what I suspected might be new dialogue over an old cutscene, and sure enough, what was originally Goro's final fuck you before blowing your brains out is now a dangerously tsundere inquiry about what benefit there is to sparing the protagonist, meaning, ding ding ding. It's obviously not clear just from this one clip why things are now playing out this way, but stow that thought away for later. The next scene is a new anime cutscene that seems to take place around Christmas and features the new girl, Kasumi, stating that she's stolen everyone's dreams. That's good for her, I guess? Dream big? Again, hold that thought. A glimpse at what is almost certainly our new opening with a rather suspicious lack of a new face and an old face. That looks absolutely stunning BT dub, so I'm not gonna complain about it otherwise. The new location of Kichijoji that seems to serve as a new shopping district much like its real-life namesake, with a clothing store that I'm guessing will serve as an alternative to at least some of the old DLC costumes from the vanilla version. Probably also the location of that new game room that we'll see in a little bit, and possibly home to some new confidants since it has its own Velvet Room entrance. At the very least, it's probably home to some kind of new hangout spot since it has an easy access point to get matching personas, or maybe just a new street corner for Mishima to hang out on. You know that guy. Always hanging on the street corners. Weirdo. What is either some kind of weird fast travel feature or radically reworked layouts for Kamoshida's palace, Ditto Okumura's in a bit, and some new scenes with the school therapist confidant who has his work cut out for him because, oh my god, Shujin is a fucking disaster zone. Leading into Futaba finally getting her own all-out attack. Good shit. A new type of co-op move courtesy of Haru and Morgana, but more importantly, some dialogue from Kasumi that implies she will learn the identity of Joker, if not the whole gang, well before she actually joins up with them herself. Something I'm pretty sure isn't happening until December. Questioning if they're still doing it, implying, you know, she already knew about it even earlier than this point, and offering that they should probably stay out of trouble, which is thankfully immediately rebuked because, come on, you little goblin, they're trying to help people who have literally no other option. Cut them a break. A new school event that looks more like Trash Duty, suspiciously similar to P4's, and is either a way to implement Haru earlier, or part of the mysterious third semester arc that we learned about in subsequent info, along with a shit ton of screenshots and other goodies. Thanks, Atlas, you're cool. Kasumi getting accosted by this very rude gentleman who seems to have raided Sojiro's closet and is either a pervert or her abusive dad, probably, just my guess, and her subsequent awakening, which, if I had to guess, is taking place either in Mementos, because, I don't know, it looks kind of like a train in the background, or a completely new dungeon, and probably close to the endgame, with her wearing what looks more like a winter outfit, probably part of the aforementioned third semester thing. New, almost certainly not real dates with Ryuji and Yusuke. Sad face. The previously mentioned game room where you can apparently hang out with all your party members at once. It's either a new hideout location for something in this third semester or just some kind of cool new mechanic to gain social points with multiple people at the same time. I'd be all about that. One of my biggest complaints in every single one of these games is the fact that you can only hang out with one friend at a time, apparently. It's just kind of weird. Like, that's not how real life works, guys. Shiny new portraits for Ryuji, hopefully a good omen of his character in general being less punchable. Another co-op attack, this time featuring Ryuji and Makoto, which probably means we're gonna get these individualized ones where each person teams up with another. If they do multiple, there's some overlap, great, but I'm willing to believe that it's just like one per every two. Yusuke will probably have one with An, and Joker will probably have one with Kasumi or Goro, or both, or any combination of the three, depending on how this new timeline we're bearing witness to shakes up, and oh boy, is it getting shaken up. What is, as far as I can tell, again, either a new palace or a different section of mementos collapsing in an anime cutscene. Dancing all night, all in one Master Edition confirmed. And a whole bunch of other shit that came out afterwards that I'll talk about as it becomes relevant. Mainly just wanted to go over the new trailer again because I am very much aware that video was not exactly the most competent thing I've ever put out. But again, the main point of this is to cover everything I talked about in my previous wishlist video, and well, we'll start with the easy stuff. Sure enough, they seem to have taken at least some of my advice with what looked to be some major quality of life changes to the menus. Didn't get a look at all the stuff I talked about specifically that I felt needed more streamlining, but this new menu for the non-dungeon crawler segments of the game is one hell of a good omen for things to come, replacing at least some aspects of the normal menu with mapped buttons that you can just hit instantly to get the certain info you need. There is no sense talking about any of the localization issues since there may as well have been no news on that front. All we have from Atlas USA is a teaser trailer so bare bones it hurts, and a very broad, very optimistic release window of 2020. So I'll just reiterate that they need to fire whoever is making the calls on these name pronunciations, figure out the difference between translation and localization, and probably buy a thesaurus or two or three. The possibility of gay options is on the table, I guess. They didn't really deconfirm it, but I'm not holding my breath, and neither should you. A more hard deconfirm on the idea of playing as a female protagonist and dating boys that way because, yeah, Kasumi here is pretty firmly established as an entirely new character. Unless Atlas surprises us and she joins you much, much earlier than I'm speculating and gives us a new game plus type campaign from her perspective or something, and I don't see that working either for reasons I'll get to later. But yeah, ripperoni gender equality, we didn't need you anyway. Okay, time for what you're all probably actually here for, because it seems that, yes indeed, right off the bat, the monkey's paw has curled, and we will indeed be getting some kind of Goro redemption storyline, or at the very least, some new situation where he will be around the rest of the party under extremely different circumstances, because, yeah, that's his real metaverse outfit. Nomura leg belts and all. I've seen some people try to argue that it's Makoto or Yusuke. I don't know what to tell these people except you're bad at eyesight. The revamped interrogation scene seems like it would be a big turning point for this. Maybe he pussies out and he helps you escape instead of Sai. Maybe any of the other suggestions I talked about previously. Maybe he has his own palace as one of the new dungeons. Whatever the case, he's here, he's queer, maybe. Get used to it. And while I can never hope to properly convey to you all just how much I dislike the way they handled his character in Vanilla P5, this is probably the best thing they could have done without reworking the story from scratch. And hey, he'll be hanging around more, but at least it'll be in a less ridiculous outfit. And I mean, he's bringing Best Boy with him. That was awful nice of him. What a swell guy. He deserves a pancake. Oh, no. This is what I was worried about. When I suggested the idea of making Goro's new social link and redemption exclusive to a female route, please understand that I was in no way condoning the idea of the power of love being enough to save him from himself or any of that gay shit. And I really hope that's not what they're going for by implying any kind of romantic connection with Ace-tan here. Skiddly, on the other hand. Kidding, kidding, kidding. If you're gonna let me date anyone, let me date Yusuke. But regardless of my personal thoughts on that idea, and regardless of how you wanna interpret their relationship, the key to Goro's redemption kinda does need to be based on the actions of the protagonist and thus the player. It's just the way a situation like this needs to be handled in a game like this for the purpose of immersion and having your choices matter. So congrats, fangirls, you are actually in the right on this one, just not for the right reasons. that is most of the major issues I had with the vanilla game, either immediately addressed or deconfirmed right out of the gate. So why is this video still
insert number of minutes left in the video here
long? Well, because in typical Atlas fashion, they of course decided to fix some stuff that wasn't broken, and good God, is this broken? While I am at least willing to give Kasumi a chance based on her personality not immediately making me want to punch her in the face like some other people I could name, Atlas's track record unfortunately kinda speaks for itself, and I'm really not in any way inclined to believe that they've somehow become Shakespearean-level writers in the past 3 years. I cannot imagine why. The best thing they could do with her is just have her be another regular old party member like everyone else, but given the amount of focus she is getting, I don't think that's going to be the case. Her lack of a Phantom Thief outfit on the cover is especially telling. It definitely seems to imply that she is even more of an outlier within the group than Goro ever was. Even if she's not just a romantic plot device for Goro getting redeemed, she will probably be very closely tied into the main plot in some fashion, either by somehow being connected to Igor and the Holy Grail, or if Atlas really wants to have some cojones, have her turn out to be an even bigger traitor than Goro. Maybe she sides with Cuphead to impose their will on humanity and ends up fighting the rest of the thieves plus pancakes. Not brainwashed, not unwittingly another half of Cup God, just a normal human who made that horrible choice the Joker made once upon a bad ending. But hey, that's just what I do. And unfortunately, while I am willing to call a mulligan on Kasumi for now, someone I do want to punch in the face is one of the things I didn't think could be broken more. Morgana. I'm gonna be frank with you, Morgana was a borderline insufferable nuisance throughout a large chunk of the game for me. Every time he gushes over on or brags about his sick moves or talk about how he's totes Magot's a human for really reals was the time I second-guessed my firm stance on animal abuse. But you know what? He made up for it. His reality crashing down around him in that final dungeon was enough to make him stop acting like a fuckwit. His sacrifice at the end was genuinely very heartfelt, and his revival as a normal cat was a nice, bittersweet, and appropriate note to end it all on. And now you want to take it all back just to make him even more like Teddy. That is exactly what everyone wanted, I'm sure. But I am gonna have to just grit my teeth and reserve judgment on this one too, technically, because, hey, for all I know, this is just a fucked up dream sequence, and please, let this just be a fucked up dream sequence. There is that weird dialogue with Kasumi earlier, and other oddities like Wakaba being alive in this screenshot seems to point more towards that. Maybe if I'm right about Kasumi, she helps put them into some kind of weird, fucked up dream world where their greatest desires become reality, and oh my lord, that can make for some delicious angst on everyone's part. And I'll stop being an edgelord now. We'll just have to wait and see because, yeah, despite there being more to this first round of info than I thought, we are still very early into a new hype cycle. Frankly, I probably shouldn't have even made this video with how little we actually really know, but hey, you guys seem to like this crap, and I've at least got some of this shit out of the way now. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. I play video games with my best friends and also yell about Persona by myself sometimes now, I guess. This is my life now. If you really, really enjoyed this video, consider checking out our Patreon. You'll help support all three of us and motivate me to do more content like this. I will try to keep doing this kind of stuff for Persona 5 The Royal News as it continues to roll out over these next 6 months. More for that if I can avoid spoilers and actually play the English release completely blind this time. Who knows? And I will continue to do this because, hey, believe it or not, despite my constant bitching, I do genuinely adore this franchise and still have a lot of love for this game in particular, despite my many, many problems with it. I just want to see this re-release be the best game it possibly can, and I hope you're all willing to join me for that journey. We'll see you next time.